Prince Sports, bitch. Let's get it. All right, y'all. Ever since this big three formed with the Brooklyn Nets, there's been one guy that's been extremely vocal about it and upset about it. And that's none other than Sir Charles Barkley himself, one of the greatest small forwards of all time, one of the greatest rebounding forwards of all time. And he says Kyrie Irving on the Brooklyn Nets is irrelevant now that James Harden is there because James Harden has the edge in the individual accomplishments over Kyrie Irving. So most people will say, oh, he has to be the number 2 option, like my boy Zach said. But I say out of default, you got to give it to Kyrie because Kyrie was on the team before James Harden. And you don't want to make Mr. Sensitive Kyrie Irving upset because you see what happens. He may just run off and cost your team a championship. But Charles Barkley says, I quote, I think the Nets lost faith in Kyrie. I think actually Kevin is like, nah, I better bring James here because listen, even without Kyrie, James and KD is pretty formidable. I mean, they're going to be as good with Kyrie or without. So I think KD is like, yo, man, I can't trust this dude. He shows up when he wants to. He's going to do his own thing. I have to bring James in as insurance. This is probably the greatest insurance policy that you ever could see in the NBA. That's Charles Barkley's words, okay? And I'm reading from his quote. So, Kevin Durant may be good friends with Kyrie Irving, but if this is true, that means he's not trusting Kyrie Irving to help him take to the next level. You know, he's going to put his trust more into James Harden, a guy that he played basketball with, a guy that he knows pretty well, and they still remain friends. So this proves 100% proof that Kevin Durant contacted James Harden, vice versa, and they've been talking about playing on the same team. Kyrie Irving has not been in these conversations. Kyrie Irving did not want James Harden on his team officially when they first started. Okay, so that's a proven fact now. But now he has no other choice but to say, I'm on board. But being the fact that he's extremely bipolar, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that Kyrie don't really want James Harden on board. Okay? So you can't go by reports when it comes to Kyrie Irving because he switched and says things completely differently over and over again. So he's not a man to be trusted. Only thing you could trust Kyrie Irving with, I give him credit on, is when he playing basketball, he's going to give it his all. But the question is, where is basketball in your heart to actually go out and play basketball? Because you have to go out there and perform. Talking on paper is good, okay? But it don't get the job done. You have to perform on the court. You got to be there. You know, one thing my boss told me about working, he said, Prince, I don't care how good of a worker you are. I was young back then, and I had a job, and I used to take days off. And he used to say, Prince, you're a great worker, but availability is your best asset, okay? If you can't come to work, I can't rely on you. If I can't rely on you, I don't need you to be working here. Now, I was a young kid at the time when he said that to me. I was about 18 years old, 17, something like that. And, I was still a young kid. I was, not going to school. Not going to work. If I went to school and I had to go to work afterwards, I didn't want to do it, So it is what it is, But when you have somebody like that, some veteran presence to teach you right from wrong, that's what Kyrie Irving needs. You need somebody to tell you, dog, you need to get your shit together. You need to come on the court and play. So I do agree with Charles Barkley for calling out Kyrie Irving on this, But I still think, him bashing these super teams is kind of a hypocrite because this is the same guy that left his own respective ball club to go to the Phoenix Suns to win the championship. They had current All-Stars on that Phoenix Suns team. They were already put in place, and they add Charles Barkley. Okay? Then you get older and you go ring chasing mode and you try to form a big three with a bunch of older guys, yes, but still formable. Okay, age don't mean nothing when it comes to skill. There's a lot of guys that still could perform at a late age. Gary Payton and Karl Malone went to the finals with Kobe and Shaq, and it was old as dirt. Okay? So it doesn't matter what your age is. Plenty of guys that been older has still got the job done. Boston Celtics, you guys called them old, but they went to the finals 2 out of 3 times, won 1 championship. So miss me with that. Prince Sports out. Keep it 3,000. What do you think about Charles Barkley comments and criticism of Kyrie Irving? Peace.